Hi everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and today we've been getting a lot of big stuff coming from Warner Bros. Presentation at CinemaCon. We've been getting updates about Wonka, we've been getting updates about Dune Part 2, we've been getting updates about Barbie, but with everything that they did talk about, that they did show at the presentation, the only one that actually was released to the public has been the Flash trailer. So I'm excited to do a reaction for it and talk about it for tonight. It's the only thing we actually have right in front of our faces, something more tangible that we can actually discuss about. Now, having said that, I know I haven't been really doing a lot of reaction, let alone discussions about the Flash or the DC universe in general, aside from the movie reviews I have done. That's just because, like, at least for the Flash, like, any time that Warner Bros. Has dropped any sort of trailer for that film, it typically comes out during, like, a big event that's hard to kind of tackle onto so many things at the same time and dedicating all the time to really do things so quickly. Like, for one instance, I believe one of the Flash trailers had dropped during the Super Bowl, and there was just a lot of things going on at the Super Bowl, of course. Like, I mean, we had Indiana Jones, we had the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, there was a lot of things going on. It was really hard to kind of keep up with the trailers we were getting for that day, and I just couldn't get to the Flash trailer. And by the time I did want to do a reaction for it, the window itself had already passed to really just upload it and do a reaction for it. So it just didn't really make any sense for me to just do a very late reaction for a trailer that, has been out for over a day. So, but for today, I just, because it's the only thing that we did get from the Warner Bros. Presentation that was released online, I thought this would be a good opportunity to, given that the window is still there, I can go ahead and still do a reaction for the Flash trailer. So I can't wait to see it in just a moment. I know, of course, like, this film is supposed to be a really critical point for the DC universe. It's not as if we're just going through any sort of multiverse sort of, storyline. This is supposed to be a film that's allowing the DC universe to reset itself. Like, I don't know how they're going to do that, what they're going to, try to do to accomplish this, and how this would affect the whole situation with James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe that they're going to be taking over. They already took over, but are going to start planning out and start producing very soon. But we know that this is going to be a very crucial film for the DC universe, allowing, Warner Bros. A chance to restart everything, right? Like, we all know that the DC universe or DC extended universe hasn't been the greatest. The reception for a lot of the films has been pretty mixed. It hasn't been doing so well critically. It hasn't been doing super great commercially, financially. We already heard things about, Shazam and Black Adam not doing so well at the box office. And I'm talking about Shazam 2, by the way, not the first Shazam. But yeah, it hasn't been the greatest for the DCU, which is now going to be DCU once James Gunn and Peter Safran take over, or once they're going to start producing their content. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what this film is going to be about. There's been a lot of talk about it. James Gunn has been complimenting how this film is one of the best movies that he's ever seen, or at least one of the best superhero movies that he's ever seen. And I think just having seen the trailer so far, it is very epic. It seems like a really huge film that's going to change the trajectory of the DC universe. So I can't wait to see this film for sure. I'm going to be seeing it in theaters. I believe it's coming out this summer. So definitely going to be my, list to go and watch. Of course, there's going to be that whole bubble, the whole controversy about Ezra Miller. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. I know that's like a whole conversation that you kind of have to go into. I'm not going to go too deep into that whole situation, but I think enough pundits, enough people have spoken about it. I think the reaction regarding Ezra Miller has been pretty unanimous. I don't think a lot of us are very happy about the matters regarding Ezra Miller and how it's being handled. But then again, with this film, it was already shot, it was already filmed, it was already edited. There isn't much that, Warner Bros. Can do to kind of, fix all of what's been happening with the event of, Ezra Miller and his controversy. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I mean, it's just something we kind of have to go, have to run with. I think, Warner Bros. Knows that they have to run with themselves. And then we'll see what happens afterwards, right? Like, is he going to stay? Is he going to, return? We don't know yet. But yeah, having said that, regardless of the whole situation with that, and I'm still kind of not happy with the whole situation with that, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I think that regardless, for me, what's important for me is the quality of the film that we're gonna get, the concept of it, how they tried to execute it. That's gonna be my main focus going into the Flash movie. So yeah, having kind of pinpointed everything that I've, haven't been able to, tackle for the last, I think, 4 or 5 months about the Flash. Let's get right down into the trailer for the Flash.
I lost my parents. That pain made me who I am.
Yeah, the typical Batman origin
I
story.
spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs of the past. As if fighting crime would
Bruce
bring my
with long
parents
hair?
back. You actually did it.
Okay.
I can't imagine what you've been through.
I love you, Monkey.
You lost both parents in one day.
Barry! Call 911 now!
I went back in time to save my parents. But instead, I completely broke the universe.
If you
Yep.
went back and changed the past,
This world must die.
you changed the future.
Do you know what the symbol stands for?
Means hope, right?
I will help you fight Zod.
You want to get nuts?
Hey.
Let's get nuts.
Whoa.
I have to undo what I did.
These scars we have make us who we are. And I'm meant to go back and fix them. Don't let your tragedy define you.
What did you do?
Okay, I think I know what that was about.
No matter
Oh,
what we do, we're not going to be able to fix this. No! Nobody dies!
Oh my god. Oh, I love that logo change. Oh.
You're strapped to your parachutes.
And where's yours?
So that was the Flash trailer, and once again, Warner Bros. Is really blowing out of the water in terms of the marketing and the trailers for the Flash. Like every time I'm seeing a new trailer for the Flash, the more and more I'm just really hyped to see this film, regardless of the whole controversy situation. But it gets exciting. It gets far more exciting more and more time, and I think this one definitely resonates more the emotionality of what we're going to get out of this movie, because like we are going to be diving much more deeper into Barry Allen's backstory and how he lost his mother, right? Like that is something that I think a lot of us have a good idea of what that origin story is, especially if you've seen the TV show The Flash. And now we're seeing a bit of a similar sort of story arc for Barry in DC's universe version of The Flash. So, and you can just tell, like, you can see how much of that emotionality is being resonated, not just with Barry, but also with Bruce Wayne. Something that, again, we know very well of in terms of his origin story, how he lost both his parents. Both his parents were killed in that alley. We all know that story. And that seems to be the case again. Like, we can see this deep understanding between both these characters who understand like what if they would willing to do to bring their parents back in some form of some way. And this is something that they really kind of make up as a big part of what this film is going to be about. And again, like I think this trailer really goes into the deep underpinnings of of the feelings that we're going to get, like the sadness and the, you know, I guess not the melancholy, but just the sadness that we're gonna get out of this film. Just like, again, like these are for a character like Barry, like he is somebody who is very uplifting. He definitely has a much more optimistic way of looking to life, but there's definitely that bit of that complexity with his character where he does still have this nightmare of his childhood where he lost his, you know, not just his mother, but his father too, when he had to be put away in jail, right? So definitely got those vibes really deep into this trailer. I think we even get a lot of this vibe with Supergirl as well. Like there's only one part of the trailer where, I mean, she's screaming like, "What did you do?" Like I don't know if she's addressing that to Barry or if she's addressing that to Zod. lots of questions about that. It could be either or, but having seen what comes up thereafter from that scene, she does end up fighting off Zod. So I feel like we're going to see kind of a similar sort of situation that we saw in Man of Steel, where, you know, Superman had to fight off against Zod, and he had to do the one thing that he did not want to do, and that is to kill off someone that is Zod, and he ended up doing that anyway, which, I mean, you can sense kind of like a lot of that energy being felt by Supergirl, which I feel like it's going to be the case here, like just seeing the fact that she's fighting off Zod. And just, again, the earlier scene where she's saying, "What did you do?" Like, I don't know who she's addressing that to. I'm assuming that's going to be Zod. So, again, lots of ways to kind of speculate on this trailer. Again, like, we get the vibes of this really diving deep into the multiverse storyline, kind of playing around with space-time continuum, making things very unbalanced behind it, something that we've seen before with Spider-Man No Way Home, and now we're seeing kind of this version being played out here. And this, again, we all know this is going to be a very critical situation for the DC universe, because not only is this film going to just be, you know, playing a part in setting up the DC universe's lore and, you know, setting up how they're going to, you know, manifest the stories for their films, but it's supposed to be a huge restart, not just for the DC, you know, itself, but for the DC universe, where the last remaining films that we have for what we have of this part of the DCU is kind of, you know, kind of it. And then afterwards, we're just going to see James Gunn and Peter Safran's vision of what they see for the DC universe. And again, like, a lot of things that we've seen so far in terms of the whole DC situation, like, we're not going to see Gal Gadot back as Wonder Woman. We're not going to see Henry Cavill back as Superman. I highly doubt we're going to see Dwayne Johnson back as Black Adam. And the situation with Zachary Levi as Shazam doesn't look so great right now. And I think at this point, like, I think if there's anything that I guess we can guarantee will be continuing on from what we've seen beforehand, before the whole, you know, change of this whole reboot of the DC universe, I think the one thing that's probably going to remain is Peacemaker, because that is James Gunn's baby right there. I mean, it was a really great series. I actually had seen it last year, and it's a really great series. I mean, just to see James Gunn helm the DC universe as, you know, one of the co-heads of DC Studios, like, it makes a lot of sense. He's a comic book aficionado. He's very good at, you know, narrating stories. The fact that he has his own vision is really huge. I mean, I remember back when Guardians of the Galaxy, the first film, had came out back in 2014, a lot of people thought it was a joke. Like, no one took that film seriously. Everyone thought it was going to be the first Marvel dud in the whole franchise, reputation for it. And, like, at the end of the day, it ended up being great. Like, it really kind of exceeded expectations, like, blew everyone's mind how great that movie was. And I mean, you have to compliment James Gunn for really just showing his baby out there. Like, I know a lot of people are, like, talking crap about some of the things that he's already announced with his 10-year plan, such as things like, what was it? The Beautiful and the Bold. I believe there's one that's with the Gold Boost sort of film. I can't remember exactly, but it was one of those announced projects. There was a lot of things that he announced. A lot of people were not too enthused by it, but I also recall that we had the same sort of reaction when Guardians of the Galaxy was being, you know, confirmed and being announced and being made, and look at how that turned out. So I still think there's a full confidence with what James Gunn can do for the DC universe. Again, this film is not, of course, James Gunn has nothing to do with this film. This film was already made, shot, edited long before James Gunn came into the picture. But even then, like, James Gunn himself had said that he's seen this film, and apparently it's really, really good. We're about to get, like, I believe, some of the early reactions for the film at CinemaCon. But yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good things about it so far, just from those who have already seen it, and just from seeing the trailers itself. Like, it seems like it's going to be a very big, epic superhero film that we're going to get that's going to really change the trajectory again for the DC universe. So again, like, I can't wait to see what we're gonna see from this. I know I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some of the older Batman movies with Michael Keaton, because it's been quite some time now. So that's something I'm gonna have to put as my homework before going into June 16th when the film comes out. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. I can't wait to see this film. I think that's going to be really huge for the DC universe and for Warner Bros. And hopefully we'll see kind of what this means for the universe as a whole. So look forward to seeing that in about 2 months from now. But that's all I have to say about it. What are your thoughts of this trailer? Like, what do you think about the vibe of itself? Did it feel really different from some of the other ones? Did it feel the same? Are there anything really new or interesting from this trailer that you're really excited about, especially for the fact that we see a much more closer look at Michael Keaton as Batman? Like, what do you feel about that? What do you think about kind of what they already implied is going to be some part of the story arc going into this film? What do you think about the fact that, again, this film is going to kind of be the reset for the DC Universe? What are your feelings about that? What do you anticipate this film could be? Like, what are going to be the side effects of it all? What else do you think is going to happen? Do you have any predictions about what this film is going to have? What we're going to see? Any sort of cameos or any sort of big storyline we're going to see, or any sort of, act that we might be anticipating? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe.